Lori Vallow Daybell was found guilty by a jury of murdering two of her children in what the prosecution claimed was a doomsday plot. She was also found guilty of plotting the murder of Tamara Daybell, the first wife of her husband, as well as her own children. For the 2019 deaths of Lori Vallow Daybell's children, Joshua J.J. Vallow, 7, and Tylee Ryan, 16, whose remains were discovered on an Idaho property owned by Chad Daybell after a months-long search, the couple was each charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. The jury deliberated for roughly 4 hours on Thursday and 2 hours on Friday before coming to a decision. The court read the verdict in front of a packed courtroom in Boise and livestreamed it as well. The audience was asked by Judge Steven Boyce to hold off on any loud outbursts while the verdict was being read. Although the prosecution stated that it was very pleased with the jury's decision, it chose not to elaborate further due to Chad Daybell's ongoing legal battle. In a joint statement, Madison County Prosecuting Attorney Rob Wood and Fremont County Prosecuting Attorney Lindsay Blake expressed their commitment to pursuing justice for Tylee Ryan, J.J. Vallow, and Tammy Daybell. We also want to sincerely thank the numerous law enforcement officials and community members who tirelessly cooperated to hold Lori Vallow Daybell accountable. The couple was found guilty after a 6-week trial, in which the prosecution claimed they believed the kids were zombies and killed them. Larry Woodcock, JJ's grandfather, who along with his wife had filed a missing persons report for the kids, thanked the jury for their honest, fair, and righteous verdict. What they went through, what they saw is mind-boggling, Woodcock, who has been in the courtroom throughout the trial, told reporters outside the courthouse after the verdict. I hope no one ever has to experience this. I sincerely hope that no one ever has to witness or hear the specifics of what happened to JJ, Tylee, and Tammy. When asked for his parting words to Lori Vallow Daybell, he broke into the Willie Nelson song "The Party's Over." I adore you, JJ. Papa would rather you were here if things were different. Papa loves you, Tylee, Woodcock sobbed. Tammy, I apologize for what occurred. My chest aches. Concerning these three, my heart aches. Lori Vallow Daybell used money, power, and sex to set the plan for the children's murder in motion in October 2018, and she and her husband used religion to manipulate others, according to Wood, the lead prosecutor, who addressed the jury during closing arguments on Thursday. Wood stated, "It doesn't matter what they believed, it matters what they did. They are free to hold any opinion they choose, but when murder occurs, things are different." Lori Vallow Daybell was described as a loving mother who loved her children and Jesus by the defense attorney, Jim Archibald, but everything changed when she met Chad Daybell toward the end of 2018. Is Lori Chad's leader or follower? In his closing remarks, Archibald said, "She so desperately wants to be a leader, but she is following Chad." The jury heard text messages that the prosecution claimed were exchanged between Lori Vallow Daybell and her husband in the weeks before her children vanished during the trial. The messages mentioned that the children were weary from taking care of demons and that demons were inhabiting their bodies. According to reports, Lori Vallow Daybell texted her husband asking him to please ask the Lord to take them and asking him if he believed there was a perfectly orchestrated plan to take the children, to which he allegedly replied, "There is a plan being orchestrated for the children." During the prosecution's closing arguments, the text message evidence was presented, but Archibald rejected it. "Show me one of the 15,000 texts that contains the phrase 'When are you killing Tylee?'" On Thursday, Archibald informed the jury that it wasn't there. "Show me one of the 15,000 texts where Lori asks, 'When are you killing JJ, by the way?' Such a text does not exist." The kids were last seen alive in September 2019, and their extended family members reported them missing to the police in November of that same year. Nearly a year after authorities found the remains of Lori Vallow Daybell's children on Chad Daybell's property in June 2020, the couple was charged with murder. Wood rebutted the defense's portrayal of the defendant as a good mother during closing arguments by asserting, "You can't have a good mom if she doesn't report her children missing or dead. We have copious amounts of evidence. You must find her guilty," he instructed the jury. A DNA expert for the prosecution testified that a hair strand found wrapped in duct tape among the remains matched Lori Vallow Daybell's DNA profile, which was one of the revelations made during the trial. The jury also overheard tearful phone calls from Lori Vallow Daybell's sister and surviving son, questioning her about the deaths of the kids from jail. Summer Shiflett, her sister, testified that she initially believed Lori Vallow Daybell before finding out the children's bodies had been discovered on Chad Daybell's property. Less than a month before Lori and Chad's Hawaii wedding, on October 19, 2019, Tamara Daybell, the ex-wife of Chad Daybell, passed away. Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell were both charged with conspiracy to commit murder in her death. In addition, Chad Daybell was accused of killing his ex-wife. Prosecutors stated during opening statements that 49-year-old Tamara Daybell asphyxiated to death. At first, it was thought that her death was natural. After calling about 60 witnesses on Tuesday, the prosecution rested their case. There were no witnesses cited by the defense. The author of numerous works of religious fiction, Chad Daybell, is Lori Vallow Daybell's fifth husband. Lori Vallow Daybell reportedly claimed she was a god assigned to carry out the work of the 144,000 at Christ's second coming in July 2020 and didn't want anything to do with her family because she had a more important mission to carry out, according to court documents obtained by ABC News. The couple reportedly shared a doomsday ideology. Following a 10-month stay in an Idaho mental health facility, Lori Vallow Daybell was found to be competent to stand trial last year. Her lawyers had previously stated that they did not intend to bring up a mental health defense during the trial's guilt phase. In Lori Vallow Daybell's case, the judge had agreed to the defense's request to have the death penalty thrown out. Lori Vallow Daybell was also charged with grand theft in relation to Social Security survivor benefits intended for the upkeep of her children, which, according to the prosecution, were taken after the kids went missing and were later discovered dead. On that count as well, the jury found her guilty. As the beneficiary of Tamara Daybell's life insurance policies, Chad Daybell was also charged with 2 counts of insurance fraud, according to the prosecution. To their respective charges, they had both entered not guilty pleas. The judge granted their requests for separate trials, with Chad Daybell's proceeding at a later time.